The project for today's video is changing the intake manifold on a 2008 Mercedes C350. This car belongs to a friend of mine. In fact, it used to belong to me, sold to him some years ago. I help him out every now and then when there's some issues, and this one was one where apparently his mechanic didn't want to touch it. So reading up on it didn't seem too terrible, so I figured bring it over. And that's where this video will start off. So hope you guys enjoy it. Catch you on the other side. When an old friend comes to visit, look who's back. Hey, what's up, peeps? It's Kurt back again, Don't Be Kurt, and this time my theme of what's old is new again continues with the C350. So I've never talked about this car because I didn't have this car when I started the channel, but this car was originally mine back in 2013 through 2019, and sold it, and it's needing some repairs, and I offered to help the new owner out, so I'm gonna fix it. So this car has an issue that I never even knew was a common problem in these cars, but you learn something new all the time, which is the intake manifold has some sort of arm, an actuator. It's made out of plastic, and eventually it snaps, which then puts the car in a failed state where it's failed shut, where it won't start. And so today's task will be to install a new intake manifold onto the car and do some light cleaning up and getting the car back in proper running order for my friend, and let it be, I guess. I am not a mechanic. I'm just an IT guy who likes to tinker with things, so this ought to be fun to see how well I do. All right, so this is the W204 platform of the Mercedes-Benz C-Class with a 3.5 liter V6 engine in here, and I've already started doing some of the work, taking off the intake hoses off and the front cover of the engine. Of course, this other cover has to come off, but before I get too far, I need to do a vacuum job, as this car has been sitting for a while, as it's not been running for quite a while. So get a little clean in here, because taking off the intake manifold, we're going to be exposing some internal bits of the engine and also removing the throttle body, as all this has to basically come off in order to get underneath here and take off this whole manifold, which is underneath this cover. Well, sounds like a great idea to get my vacuum out. Small canister vac, small hole, big things. So yeah, that's another brilliant idea by me that's not going to work, so I'm gonna have to go to plan B to get all of this cleaned up. Okay, this is mostly better after some vacuuming and some hand picking up of stuff. I mean, it's not perfect. I need to get some more degreaser. I am all out of this stuff here to kind of spray down and clean all this stuff underneath here, but we'll get to that. Now I'm going to use my little pick tool here and see if I can unhook all these cam plugs here, which all of these have to be unplugged. All these have to be unplugged, and that's really the start of the party here, and we'll start there. All right, so I started this job clearly in the evening. It's starting to get late, and I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes, and I just wanted to get a start on this job. I still need to go to the Mercedes dealership and get some fuel injector O-rings, because I got to pull those out, and I apparently should replace those. But one thing is the old plastic electrical connectors in here that I don't like touching. So this car is 16 years old, and plastic is brittle, and I'm not quite sure exactly how to get this one to let go, or where's the other one? Yeah, well, maybe I did better than I thought I did. I think I got them all to let go except for this one right here. And then over here, this one and this one. Any of these are gray tabs, I don't quite get it, and so I think I'm gonna get a different pick tool, because the one I got isn't quite pointy enough to get in there. So perhaps correct tool will help. Also, one of the things I find I'm tickled by is that the E46 is acting as a storage for all the W204 parts as I take them out. So since I can't use my garage, you know, the parts go in there and it works out pretty great. So from a video frame of reference, this will all be in one video, but for me, this is the end of day one. I was just trying to poke around, see what I could loosen up, do some more studying to watch the technique of these guys who have disconnected these connectors before, because I am certainly stuck on getting these to give. I've pulled this up, but it still doesn't give, so I guess I gotta hook something in here somewhere to get it to release. Remove the ECU, remove the air box, got the throttle body to undo, and then basically got to undo all the coil packs, loosen up this wire harness which goes into this whole contraption here on both sides, take out the fuel rails, take these things out. I think that holds something in as well too. And then there's bolts to take the whole intake manifold out and reverse the steps. Oh yeah, and there's some hose. I think one of these hoses here I gotta be careful on. But in this video, which might be 10 or 15 minutes long, I'll compress my slowness down, or speed my slowness up so it looks like a regular person did the work and not a IT guy playing mechanic. All right, day two. Had to go to Napa and pick up a proper pick tool set because I don't have one. And this should help getting those connectors undone. And what I also need is to get some brake clean so I can clean the intake manifold area before applying the new gasket. So I believe this is the stuff here, $8.99, $4.99, even cheaper. Just do this stuff. You don't need any fancy stuff. Get a couple cans of this, and we should be good. All right, next stop is to the Mercedes dealership to see if I can get the fuel injector gaskets. Hoping I'm in the right spot. Doesn't feel like it though, but we'll see. All right, so we're on our way back home because, word of wisdom, if you go to the dealership to get parts, you need a VIN. And I have no idea what the VIN is on this Mercedes, so I'm going back, take a picture of the VIN, and drive all the way back to Mercedes of St. Louis to get these gaskets for the fuel injectors. You live and you learn, right? And just don't, I guess again, channel's name is Don't Be Kurt, be prepared. I'm just trying to help y'all. Okay, came back to Mercedes St. Louis, and now they don't have it, but the dealership, which is called Chesterfield Mercedes, which is in O'Fallon, which is weird. If you're not from St. Louis, it's kind of weird because Chesterfield is in St. Louis County and O'Fallon might be another 10 miles away. So I don't know why they call themselves Chesterfield Mercedes. But anyways, that's where we're off to now. In the old trusty BMW. And there we go. All right, so we're here at Mercedes-Benz of Chesterfield in O'Fallon, Missouri, which again, for those of you not from here, I'm legitimately across a river from Chesterfield. Like, there's no Chesterfield about this. We're in St. Charles County. We're in O'Fallon, Missouri. I know this might be a really OCD nitpick, but it's weird. I got questions. I would love to talk to the people who run this place. So let's see if their inventory is correct and they have the fuel injector gaskets here. Just like Mercedes in St. Louis, there's a bell, man. Hopefully somebody will come up. Okay, we got our parts, and look, that much for this. It ain't easy, it ain't cheap. All right, we're back, and I think I'm gonna detour from finishing the repairs on this car. I really do have an OCD with a dirty car and working on a dirty car. And I think I'm gonna have to, I gotta wash this first. It's irking me seeing it like this way. And that's what we're gonna do. Go ahead and get the pressure washer out, get this dirt off the windshield, and just get it a semblance of looking clean. So that way I can work on a clean car. All right, so here's what we're dealing with on this side. It's just dry looking, and like I said, just dirt everywhere. And this is just a quick rinse. As you can see, this paint really needs a full paint correction. I'm not doing all that, but I am just gonna try and get it basically clean. So this is after, yeah, we're getting there. So I'm gonna continue and get this thing at least dirt free. Not necessarily showroom condition, but dirt free. Now there are a lot of these things, which must be from some sort of tree dropping out here, and I think this was causing the clear coat to be destroyed on this paint as well too. And you can hear my wet sponge and how gritty this sounds. I mean, this all these are clay bar. This needs the full money, but that's not the job. This is just to get it clean enough for me to not be having my spider sense going off on a car being dirty. All right, we're mostly foamed up and ready to scrub again. All right, finally figured this out. The connectors. I'm a slow guy, so basically you pull this up, then you push in, and that gets it out. Now, like the other people who've posted videos on doing this, I kind of jump cut to getting these out, but that's what it is. So you kind of wedge this up gently, and then push in, and then pull, and that'll loosen that connector. So now we got our tools ready to go. I've already kind of started loosening stuff up here. So you are going to use a T30 and E10. And that ear are basically your screws, and just go to town and loosening everything. So right now I'm loosening the wire harness, got to get the throttle body off. Then I believe also part of the wire harness is also getting the coil packs loosened up. So that's what we're working on right now. Check in a little bit. We're still digging. So we got this wire harness almost out. This one kind of looks like we got some intermixing with the wire harness and the fuel rail, so we're moving on to that, loosening it up. First, disconnected the main input from the fuel pump to the rail here. Got the hose wrapped up there, and just loosening, and again, documenting for my own sake so I remember which one of these things go where when I put it back together. And now we'll continue loosening and get further and closer. Okay, got the throttle body off. That was probably the hardest about all the unbolting, because the two bottom screws clearly you can't see and it's kind of blind, and I'm not all that coordinated. So we're almost ready to pull the manifold off, and it's just really dusty and dirty, and I know the inlets for the intakes are underneath here, so I'm going to do one more vacuum job, because this looks like loose dirt, and you know, let's just get this a little bit cleaner before we possibly introduce more dirt inside the engine. Also got the fuel injectors off, and I'm gonna go through and clean these up pretty good before we reinstall. Of course, I got the new O-rings, or what do you want to call them, from Mercedes of Chesterfield in O'Fallon. So we'll get these cleaned up, and yeah, we're moving right along here. And I'm sorry guys, you were expecting for a real how-to. That's not my style, just kind of showing some of the notes of what I ran into as a non-mechanic doing this work. All right, manifold's off, jump cut. And so we have it over there. They're the old gaskets. Now to clean up and get this surface nice and clean, get all the stuff down here clean, and reverse the steps. And I've already kind of stuffed the driver's side so I can keep that clean while I clean the passenger side, and then we'll reverse that, and that'll be it. And here is the new one. Here's the old one. And this is what breaks off, and that is what causes the infamous problem on the W204. Everything's attached here. They do sell kits to make this all metal. I mean, it lasted 16 years, so I figure there's no need to do this type of work, because I don't think this car will be around in 16 years. All right, so we almost have it back in, except for there's a very small straw looking like hose that is a vacuum line that we have to get attached on here and on the manifold. And yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of fun. And now putting on those expensive rings that we did all this traveling for. Because this car was so old, it was not quite a pretty scene taking them off. They were old and brittle. I had to take a pick tool to get them off. One of these. And now we're putting the fresh ones on. So this is the last one. Time to put the fuel injector rail back on. All right, guys. We are back at it again. I cannot believe this 3-hour job has taken 3 separate days to complete. So where are we at? Got everything buttoned up, trying to put the last bits together, and having a hard time squeezing the components of the throttle body and the mass airflow filter back on. And it turns out I had the throttle body clocked wrong, and by that time I was just beat. Again, I'm not a mechanic, and this isn't even a complex job. It's just a lot of pieces and parts and stuff like that that have to go in on a certain order. So finally we will get this thing clocked right, and hopefully this thing starts and the problem is solved. So here's what I did. Here's the throttle body, and right now, if I'm looking at it from the camera view, this needs to be turned 90 degrees towards me, or towards the passenger side of the car. And then this piece here should just clip right in and go on without fuss. Like, I was putting it on, it would not fit. It's like, was jammed. It's been a lot of time even just getting this throttle body on there, because it's not in a great spot with the gasket to hold the gasket on and get the screw holes lined up. So anyways, back to it. We'll see if we can get this clock right and see if this car runs. So got the car back together, had to charge the battery up. That wasn't anything worth recording, but what we are trying to do is to get the car to start. First attempts to start sound like there was no fuel getting in the system, almost sound like a car with no compression. Primed the fuel system and eventually started, but we have misfires on cylinder 3, cylinder 5, and then an exhaust camshaft sensor, and found one thing unplugged, but still trying to chase the misfire. So might do the thing where we move the coil packs from cylinder to cylinder and see if the error follows them. So that's where we're at right now. And this is it. We got some misfiring, so back to it we go. All right, still trying to figure this out using Carly. Still got a misfire, and we did solve one thing. Found one more thing unplugged. Got that solved, but yeah, did the coil pack swap, and now we have another cylinder out. So I don't know if that coil pack is bad, but the original one is still out. So we'll see here in a second. All right, change the coil pack. We get a check engine light, but it's not flashing. So it feels very vacuum leakish now. Sounds like an air leak somewhere. Well, it's been 2 days of working on what's supposed to be a 2 to 3 hour job. It's back together. It doesn't run. I've tried every single thing. One of the last things that I'm gonna try tomorrow, and again, this is not the end of the video because I'm not done yet, but figured I'd give a cap of day 2 working on this, is the throttle body mates to the back of the intake manifold, and for some reason, I guess this is a soft metal or whatever, and I can't tighten these screws. They're just stripped. So I'm gonna go rethread them. There's some sort of kit I was reading about at AutoZone that I can put an insert in there so I can get this thing tight, because I can't tighten it, and I'm imagining that's where there's got to be a vacuum leak, because this thing runs horrendous at idle. I'll show. All right, I'm gonna start it up. The old C350. I don't know how well the mic's picking that up, but it sounds like an old small block with a cam, but it doesn't break up at high revs. But it just cannot idle. Well, we'll see tomorrow. And again, this video is just paused till tomorrow, so hopefully next clip will be me getting the thread kit and saying, hey, figured it out. We'll see. All right, guys, so for those watching, you can call me an idiot. So I stripped all this out, and then this gasket was twisted, so a new gasket. And then, of course, my hero Greg over here is rethreading, creating a bolt to fit this last hole, and we'll get this all torqued to spec and try again round 2, and this time success because we got special glue type substance to get the gaskets to kind of hold first, then put it on. All right, so round 2 of gasket installation. So this time, special gasket glue. Reinstalling the gasket here, taking our time, let it set, and then we'll reinstall. Got the throttle body back on, sealed up. About one additional screw we got to get tightened, and then we're good to go. All right, so re-clean the intakes. This time using a bungee cord instead of, so that way you can have 2 hands kind of guiding the intake in to not disturb the gasket. Hoses are all set and ready to go. For those who watch my channel for a while, this is a remaining piece from the old Audi. That hose actually lines up to be a vacuum hose. So we're ready to go. This is cleaned. We got the gasket sealed on there. Throttle body's attached already. So let's see if we do it right this time. All right, manifold back in. This time, didn't use the power ratchet to get down. Completely hand tightened this time. Being very careful. And now we have it in there. Still, I don't know about this intake manifold. I mean, the gasket is on there, was glued on there, didn't appear to shift, but still the fuel injector holes don't look completely clear, but we'll see in a second. All right, again, because I'm doing the work or whatever, we had to take the manifold back off because we were looking to see if we could refurbish the old one and take all these arms off and loosen this one up, and then decided we shouldn't do it. Got this thing all the way back on and never ever felt quite right, and then happened to realize that the screw was still backed out. So that screw right there had to be tightened, and as you can see, no way to get to it. So off we went. Gasket was still looking good, so we're back on. Hoses are in. So remember, guys, if you guys are doing this, so not just for entertainment but instructional, is make sure these hoses are in as you're putting the intake manifold in, because it's rather difficult while it's in place. So on to putting the wire harness on, at least on this, on the driver's side of the engine if you're in the US, and fuel rail, and away we go. All right, things back, buttoned up, computer's on, master flow sensor, throttle body, all the coils, every little doodad plug is snapped in tight, hoses are backed in. So let's try for the first start. All right, we've done everything, let's try it again.
Check for any codes.
Yeah. Alright, so test driving, we have some other things to deal with. Looks like might be a wheel speed sensor or something going on with the ABS and traction control system being out. Then again, the car has been without power for so long, so I don't know if we just gotta put some miles on it before these return. Check engine light came on once we started moving forward, so I'm hoping this is all related to the traction control. But outside of that, car pulls like it used to. And remember, I used to own this car, so I'm just going by 5-year-old recollections at this point. So car drives pretty good. No weird idle or anything going like that. Check engine light came back on, but seems to be something with the traction control system or drivetrain system, because I'm getting both ABS and ESP systems inoperative. So potential the problem exists somewhere there, and that's what flagged the check engine light, which could be just check drivetrain. I'm not sure, but many lessons learned over these past 3 days of working on this, and not sure when I'll do it again. I mean, I don't own this car. I did debate for a little while when things were going bad that I just buy the car as is from my friend and continue working on it and see if I could restore it back. But as of now, I told him the car is decent, drives well, keep it. You know it's a used car. Why buy another used car you don't know? Did all that and I forgot to close the video out. So as you can see here, when I dropped the car from my friend's house, the issue turned out to be correct, which was a wheel speed sensor. So that's what caused the traction control errors. The check engine light, however, was due to one of the connectors for that particular exhaust cam had loosened itself. So that little gray thing I was talking about earlier, it was a pain in the rear to get that clicked in, so got that clicked back. So anyways, that's that. So that's what you get when you get your IT buddy to fix your car. It takes 3-4 days. Mistakes are being made and then being saved by that buddy, my friend Greg, coming out to save the day and get the intake manifold squared away where we can, with fresh screws and retapping the holes that way we can get the intake installed. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends. You know, I do simple things. You're not going to see too many complicated things here, but I do have opinions. I want to get more into talking about the future of ICE cars and other fun stuff and stuff like that. But if you guys have any comments or even some commentary on W204, please comment away and share, because what I found looking for it, I didn't see a lot to explain some of these little things especially for the at-home mechanic type person who might be trying to attempt this work. So hopefully some of those tips help somebody. Anyways, everybody, again, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll catch y'all later.